When you think about home, what comes to mind? For so many of us, it can feel like one of two very different places. Either it's a bridge that connects us, or it's a battlefield. So today, we're going to get right to the heart of that tension and explore how we can maybe build a few more bridges. Our source material kicks off with this line right here. And wow, it just hits you, doesn't it? It's so blunt, so honest, and for a lot of people, it's incredibly relatable. It really just perfectly sets up the problem we're about to dive into. What happens when the one place that's supposed to be your safe haven becomes a source of conflict? Okay, so if the home is a battlefield, where is all this conflict actually coming from? You might think it's a really complicated answer, but you might be surprised to hear that the reason our source gives is actually kind of reassuring. And that right there is the crucial point. This isn't about blame. It's not about being a bad parent. It's a diagnosis of just shared exhaustion. Parents are tired, kids are tired, and when everyone is running on empty, fuses get incredibly short. It's a state of being, not some kind of character flaw. And this is usually where the fighting starts. We see the anger, right? The moodiness, that closed off behavior, and we respond with what seems like a totally logical question. It feels like the right thing to ask, doesn't it? We want to understand what's going on. But then, when that first question gets you absolutely nowhere, the frustration starts to build, and the questions can get sharper, a little more pointed. What is wrong with you? Now, that question usually comes from a place of desperation, but it lands like an accusation. And still, we get silence. So why? Because this is what's actually happening on the inside. The source describes it so vividly. It's not some clear, logical reason that they can just tell you about. It's a dusty lump. It's a feeling of compressed fear and this overwhelming sense of, I just can't cope. They don't have the words, because it's not a thought. It's a feeling. A really heavy, suffocating one. So this breakdown in communication, this silence, it has a real long-term cost. If these battlefield conditions just continue, what happens to the kid who can't explain that dusty lump inside of them? Well, the consequences are pretty chilling. They adapt. That's what humans do. We're incredibly adaptable. The child just learns to function inside this atmosphere of tension and all these unspoken feelings. They learn to carry that compressed fear around with them, not just for a little while, but as a permanent part of who they are. And this slide really shows that tragic transformation over time. The now, that hot conflict, it's defined by anger and fatigue and frustration. It doesn't just vanish. It sort of cools and then it hardens into the later. Anger turns into silence. Frustration turns into coldness. A childhood spent not being understood can lead to an adulthood without faith. And this might be the most dangerous part of all. They grow up actually believing that this emotional landscape is normal, that distance is normal, that coldness is normal. And the source is so clear on this point. This is not the norm. It's a detour from what connection and family are supposed to feel like. But, and this is a really big but, it does not have to be this way. The battlefield isn't the only option. The source gives us a really clear alternative path, a way out of the conflict and toward connection. This is the foundation of that other way. It's a path where the goal isn't to get the right answer out of them, but to actually help the child understand their own inner world. It's about creating a space where their feelings, even the messy, inconvenient ones, are not just dismissed or devalued. And most importantly, it's a place where they feel truly, deeply heard. So how do we get there? If the home isn't a battlefield, what is it? Well, our source provides this really beautiful and powerful metaphor. It's a bridge. And it tells us exactly how we can build it. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the core idea. The tool for building this bridge is attention. But we have to redefine the word here. It's not pay attention to me, like an act of force or demanding compliance. No, this is attention as a bridge to them. It's that kind of loving focus that lets a child's own mind work, to remember, to think, and to understand themselves without any pressure, just love. So choosing to build that bridge, to offer that kind of attention, it's not just about solving one single conflict. It's a turning point. It's a conscious decision to start writing a brand new story for your family, one that's based on connection instead of conflict. And so, we're left with this question. It's a choice we get to make every single day, in every little interaction. Are we digging trenches on a battlefield, or are we laying the foundations for a bridge? The choice is ours, and the building, well, that can start today.